Hey, folks, welcome to the Common Sense Club. Great to see a lot of Patriots in the park at Park River. My thanks to Bob Hagan, Yana Murdahl, and the gang up at Park River. I mean, there were folks from Peasic that came in and Grafton that came in and, all over the entire region, which was a lot of fun. Edinburgh was there, and so it was a blast. Had a great time, and good to see y'all. Looking forward to more of those. We'll be at Ferguson Books and Media for a book signing Thursday in Grand Forks, 5 until 7. Now it's the Before the Show show. Rob Porter, the Say Anything blog, and I are going to toss around some topics that'll be hot topics on the show today. One is the announcement that the WCHA will no longer be home to the University of North Dakota. How about that? When you think of all the storied history of the WCHA, my headline here is change happens. A change happens, and with Minnesota and Wisconsin joining the Big Ten Conference after next season, it only makes sense to reassess the landscape of college hockey and the presence in the WCHA. Too many of the teams that remained just don't want to, get in the arena to the degree you need to be a University of North Dakota. So if I was in a family and some members in the family wanted to sort of dial it back and too few of us in the family said, no, we got to go for it. We got to do this. Think of it as a family business. And some folks want to sort of shut down and, spend less and invest less and be, less innovative and less bold. And a growing number of those, I'm being outvoted. What am I going to do? I'm going to look to other places. So I understand I understand totally, completely what they've had to do here. I really do. I understand, and it's probably not easy, but I think they're doing the good, bold thing. They're putting themselves in a position to say, look, we're winning recruiting battles with those Big Ten schools right now, and you know what? We want to continue to win those battles, and so we've got to continue to compete to the degree we have. We need fellow partners, fellow board of directors around the table that think like we do, and that's why they formed this new conference. So I think it makes sense. We'll talk about it today and recap some of the official announcement. Many of the schools will be speaking for the first time about it, but it's a big story, and we'll follow it. Should parents lose custody of super obese kids? Rob, this sounds to me like the nanny state's out of control again.
It certainly does. There's a group of experts who are saying that if your child is morbidly obese, if it's too fat, then that's tantamount to child abuse, not unlike hitting your child, I guess, or beating your child or neglecting your child. And because of that should be able to, legally, that should be grounds for the state to be able to come in and take your child away from you. So I guess it's really, we've already got laws in place that protect the welfare of the child, say you can't hit your child, you can't neglect your child. Now they're saying that essentially whether or not you feed your child properly, they want to include that as well. So it's an expansion of existing laws. We already agree that the state there is a time when it's appropriate for the state to step in and protect the child from the parents. But is this the appropriate time? I think that's the debatable part.
Here's my big question. How many parents out there do everything right and still have a child that, medically could be defined as obese? You're taking those children away? Look, it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. It's a health problem. Parents are best equipped to deal with it. Every parent, no, but there's nutrition programs. That's why the schools obviously go out of their way to make sure that kids have the ability to get a nutritional meal regardless of their ability to pay. There's a lot of catches, a lot of safety nets here. I think the fact that we're even talking about this is very dangerous. What next? You're watching the wrong TV shows. We're going to take those kids away. Come on. Where do you stop this insanity, Rob?
Well, that's the thing, is the slippery slope. Where does this stop? Where does the state's authority to care for your children stop and your authority to care for your children begin? We're already seeing this where, we're in the schools, we're trying to micromanage everything the kids eat while they're at school because, mom can't make a good enough sack lunch or something like that, I guess. Now we're to the point where, we have this. It's a slippery slope. This has certainly been the trend for a long time. And the question is this too far? I think a lot of people are going to say yes.
No, I agree with you. Another hot topic in Washington, D.C. is different proposals on the debt limit. The Wall Street Journal is out today with an editorial saying that Mitch McConnell is not selling out Republicans. We talked about this on the show yesterday, but he essentially is saying, okay, we'll give the president the authority to do this. We can only stop it with 2/3 votes majority. There obviously wouldn't be enough votes, so he'd go ahead and raise the debt limit, but he'd own it. Politically, looks like a move to, number one, make the president lay out his plan, which he's not done to date, which would be unique, and would move him beyond rhetoric and just beating up on Republicans and actually having to say, here's where I would cut. What do you make of the Wall Street Journal's defense of Mitch McConnell's presentation here, Rob?
Well, I think it all boils down to whether or not you believe shutting down the government at the point of a debt cap, shutting down the government would play worse for Republicans or would play worse for Obama. I think that people who are backing McConnell are thinking that would be blamed on Republicans. I think that people who are saying McConnell's plan is terrible are thinking that the shutdown would be blamed on Obama and the Democrats. So really, it's a question of perception. McConnell wants, by doing McConnell's deal, he wants to put all the perception on if the government gets shut down, if the debt limit doesn't get increased, or even if it does get increased, that's all on Obama. It's not on them. And they can all then line up and vote no for it. The problem with that is you don't actually get any policy changes which address the debt and the deficit, which is actually a point Senator Kent Conrad makes in the Washington Post today, and I agree with him. Nothing in the McConnell plan addresses the actual problem. It's really just political posturing. And as far as that goes, I think Republicans would be better off pushing for an actual policy change.
Here's part of the Wall Street Journal piece. The hotter precincts of the blogosphere, I think they're talking about you, Rob, were calling this a sellout yesterday, though they might want to think before they shout. The debt ceiling is going to be increased one way or another, and the only question has been what, if anything, Republicans could get in return. If Mr. Obama insists on a tax increase and Republicans won't vote for one, then what's the alternative to McConnell's maneuver? Republicans who say they can use the debt limit to force Democrats to agree to a balanced budget are dreaming. Such an amendment won't get the two-thirds votes to pass the Senate, but it would give every Democrat running for re-election next year a chance to vote for it and claim to be a fiscal conservative. We'll tackle that debate, get your take on it here on our Facebook page, as well as on the show today at 855-200-1776. Call the Scott line anytime. Email us, scott@scotthennon.com. Rob's opining on these issues on the Say Anything blog, and we'll all be together to chat about it today on the Common Sense Club. Jim DeMint for his take on the McConnell alternative as well today on the program. We'll have a recap of the WCHA press conference. We're going to talk to a fellow Tea Party author. You're going to hear part of an interview that I'm doing with the hot air man himself, Ed Morrissey, on my book, Grassroots, and we're counting down to the big book signing at Ferguson Books and Media Thursday, 5 to 7 in Grand Forks, too. So there you go, folks. Have a great day, and we'll see you later on the show on the Common Sense Club. Bye-bye.